So to talk about Crescent Pose, or Alanasana in Sanskrit, we're going to come into the Tadasana position, noticing that the feet are hip distance apart. And it's important for this pose that the feet stay hip distance apart, and we'll talk about why. So if we take the right leg back first, I'm going to bend that knee, reach it back, nice big step, let the toes come down. We want the hips to stay pointed forward. This is going to challenge the balance, but if you look down at your feet and see that they are hip distance, that's really going to help with balance. So if they're more on a tight wire here, that's really squeezing this in, which is not a problem, especially if you've been a practitioner for a long time. But I kind of feel some pressure in my sacrum. So I like to have hip distance. It feels more solid and stable to me. So this is how we'll practice it, especially for these beginner videos. This is how I practice it anyways. And then the knee is going to stay right over that front ankle. And a lot of things can happen for this back leg. So when we're really tight, we may need to keep this knee bent a little bit. That's okay. So as this knee is bent, we work it towards straight. So we reach it back. But as that happens, you may notice that my waist is tilting forward a little bit. So as this leg reaches back, it causes an anterior tilt in my pelvis, which is going to pull my low back into an arch here. So to counteract a little bit of that, we're going to lift up from the low belly. So now we've got this reaching back with this back leg and this lifting up with the front of the body. And then from here, we can take the arms up and breathe. And this pose is challenging. So it's stretching across the front of the body here, the front of the leg, the hip flexor, and it's strengthening this front leg. And because it's playing with our balance, it's teaching us focus. So it's really important that we breathe. And then hands to the hips. We're going to lean forward and step back to the top of the mat. Very good. Now we'll go to the other side. So bending that left knee, bending the right knee as well. Shift it back, reach it back. And this is causing focus in this front leg as well. It's causing the muscles of this leg to gain stability. And we really want that. So as we settle in, seeing what needs or wants to happen with that back leg, how that affects the pelvis. And again, lifting up as that leg reaches back. And then notice if that front heel is not pressing into the floor, that's going to cause a lack of stability as well. So really paying attention to all these things, and the arms can come up. And then hands to the hips. Again, we're going to shift forward and step to the top of the mat. Okay. Now, another way that you will see this done in practice is with blocks. So you can grab some blocks now and place them on the outer edges of your feet. You won't always have blocks for this. You'll be coming up from the floor, but I want to show you with blocks. So if we were to come from here, let's inhale and take the arms overhead. And as you exhale, fold over the legs, bring the hands to the blocks. We're going to take the right leg back into a nice high lunge. And again, really important, pay attention that the feet are hip distance apart. So here, we have a lot of things to play with. So press the legs down into the floor. Notice what direction your hips are moving in, right? We want to kind of bring the legs towards one another. That may not make any sense right now, that's okay. But you'll notice as we come up, we're coming up into that crescent pose from right here. So push the feet down into the floor. Inhale, come all the way up. And you'll see that my hips are staying pointed forward. And what happens is when we're here, if the legs and the hips are kind of out of whack and we are coming up from there, it makes us really, again, a little shaky, a little unstable. So really driving down through the heel, through the legs, and then come up with a little bit more stability. And then to come back to the top from here, we'll take our hands to the hips and step forward. We might as well do the other side while we're here. So inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, fold down. Hands to the blocks. Step the left leg back. And again, press the feet into the floor. I really like to think about that because if I'm trying to push my legs through the ground, then I'm engaging the muscles of the legs. And then from here, we're coming all the way up. This can be very shaky at any time. So just know that that's part of the practice. Hands to the hips and step forward. Very good.